Right then, so after the massive crippling defeats that Japan suffered over the last couple of months, and oh my god, look at that. 135 ships at maximum. That's beautiful. I started the offensive to take these islands. I think they're called the Marshall Islands. Now, the thing about these things is that I wouldn't realise immediately, but there would actually be a battle that would hand my ass to me. And you'll see it in a little bit. But for the time being, the offensive itself worked, no resistance, I took all of the islands. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And, fucking, oh god. 26 ships lost. And with a second naval engagement, oh, this is only going to get worse from here, I can tell. After a quick fucking freak out... Jesus, I was really pissed off actually. That is true though. Do I need to say anything? It was also at that exact moment that I had realised something was up, and I decided, you know what, fuck it. Oh, that hurt. That hurt. But it was at that point that I realised that pretty quickly I couldn't really win this war. My naval capabilities has been struck down to almost nothing. My entire navy was put into one province and I couldn't even get security over that. And along with that, Japan would start launching offensives that would start taking back islands. And after quite a heavy-handed defeat at the Battle of Saipan, where I lost a total of 6 divisions, which equates to around about 120,000 men, I decided, actually, yeah, you know what, it's not worth it. I decided that I would start again, despite what you might be watching. I wanted to just try a little bit longer, but I knew deep down that there was no chance that we would actually get anywhere with this. So, without further ado, let's start a second game. I'll do the rest of the video in one segment, so I'm sorry if things seem a bit disconnected. So simply put, we started again, I'd set myself up, and now it was time to start doing what I was planning to do originally. So, the plan itself was relatively simple. Japan went toward China, and although this isn't integral to anything, you would have noticed that little naval invasion over there. Arsenal of Democracy was completed. The idea was this: I was going to become democratic and stay it for most of the game. After Japan then declares war on me, I would have industrialized and done enough for me to then become communist. With the Germans declaring war on the Polish, I split my navy into a ton of task forces by accident. That hurt. Then France fell. After a weird battle, let me tell you. So France fell. Unusual, well, as usual. I was kind of impressed. I stayed on this for a while because I wanted to read it and I've completely forgot. Military experts predict that the collapse of France is imminent. And then Japan declared war on me, on the Philippines. I'm like, you fucking wankers. And then I started bombing the home islands after I captured, I think it's... I can't remember its name. Then Tokyo was captured. This was all within like a month and a half of each other. So, yeah, the plan was quite simple. Streamline for Japan, conquer them, and then wait for the Axis and allies to stop sucking as badly as they do. So, American forces entered Tokyo and the US War Department announced on end to major combat. With the fall of Tokyo, experts predict that organized resistance on the rest of the Japanese home islands will soon crumble. Peace negotiations are expected to begin shortly, unless Japanese hardliners convince the emperor to continue to fight to the death. That was what China got off them. Puppeted basically everything, and I got literally only that, and I was pissed off at that. But that doesn't matter, because the Germans then declared war on the fucking Soviets. That was not good for me. I'm like, oh shit. And this is me drawing up my plan. So, yeah, I was still democratic at this point, but I would very quickly become communist. The first part of this plan was simple. Encircle Ontario and encircle Canada's eastern banks and just knock them out. From there, I would navally invade Halifax, Nova Scotia, and Greenland from these territories that I would claim later. I'd then also invade Iceland and everything in the Bahamas and Caribbean. That was the idea, In Asia, the main plan was simple. From Guam, Philippines, and the Pacific Ridge island things, invade the Dutch East Indies, the islands over in the east, and invade the Dutch, and also invade New Guinea, Australia, and Guadalcanal. Not to mention Indochina and Malaysia. The idea is to cut the Allies off from their resources as quickly as possible while securing a long-term amount for myself. I would then push into Allied territories in Africa, where they would quickly fall apart and they'd quickly start to crumble. I'd push them back into the Middle East, where I would then crush all organised resistance, and then I would secure my naval hold around the Mediterranean. From there, I'd then land in Vladivostok, where I'd then push into the Soviet Union from the east. I'd then invade China as a one-off invasion thing, and yay, everyone's happy. Finally push into the Raj, and this would be when resistance would start to crumble, really. This is when the resistance would start to break. Push to the Urals and get there, essentially. And after that, I would then push into Italy. I would push on out of Russia. This was assuming that the Germans survived. They didn't. They really fucking didn't. So you just have to pretend that this was the Allies. So shush. Then I would just simply push into the Balkans. I would push into Germany somewhat. I would then push them out of Italy. I'd push into the French territories. I'd probably push into Britain as well. I would then push them back into Free France. And then from there, I would just conquer the rest of Germany, and yada yada yada.